To go through the classroom procedures. Now, there'll be a copy of this on Classroom. I just want to welcome to sixth grade science. We're going to be learning about physical science, some chemistry, some motion, design. We're going to be doing some experiments, and we're going to analyze the data, see what happens, why it happens, and make predictions about what's going to happen. For grading, all practice application assessments are going to be based on total points. So there's not weights, different things. Well, there kind of is, but it's all just points. So it's things you don't get done. Those are going to be hurting your grade. Now, practice, the day-to-day assignments, the forms, a small activity we do, that'd be 15% of your grade. Application would be our bigger labs, our lab activities, our write-ups, things like that, our bigger projects. Those would be 35%. And then your tests are half of your grade, 50% of your grade. And the total number of points for a quarter is going to be based on your practice. Based all those points go in, and it calculates to your grade. So if you're not doing well, you can always see what's going on. Assessments are really important at this point. So it's important that you're paying attention along the way to make sure that you are following along. Now, it is a transition from middle school to from elementary. I expect that students are their advocates for their learnings. I don't want to hear from your parents. I don't mind hearing from your parents, but I don't want to hear, oh, little Timmy's not following along. Little Timmy's. I'd like to hear from you. If you don't understand something, if you have a question, reach out to me. You are middle school students now. I expect that you can reach out to me. I can help you solve an issue. Again, I don't mind hearing from parents, but as middle school students, you are now kind of more responsible for your own learning and making sure that you're following through on things. So I expect to be hearing from you first, then your parents if there's still issues that we need to resolve. Parents, if they do need to contact me, they can contact me at school. I will post my our office hours on Google Classroom. You can reach me at 847-526-6210. My extension is 2626. I do get a voicemail or an email when that gets sent over. So if you need to contact me, that's the best time. I try to answer emails and calls as much as I can, as quickly as I can. In regards to daily work, a lot of our stuff's going to be on Google Classroom. That's going to be our starting point. We're actually going to be using Clever as well as kind of a link to kind of connect to different resources. The textbook you should have gotten a copy of. Now, normally we don't hand out textbooks for every student, but you have gotten a copy this year. I expect that you are taking care of it. Please be respectful. We don't use it every day. We do refer to it from time to time, and it's important that you are taking care of it. I do want those back. For missing assignments, an assignment is considered missing if it's not turned in at the beginning of class on that day it's due. I will accept stuff up until this. If you miss an assignment, something happened, and you couldn't get it done, I will still accept late work up until the end of the unit. So if we're doing, let's say, chemistry, or states of matter specifically, and you have a states of matter assignment you didn't do, when we do that states of matter assessment, that's the last day I'll take any of that work. I don't want to be grading stuff from first quarter when it's fourth quarter. It gets really tedious and confusing, and it's not something I want to be doing, especially when we're trying to do remote learning in the first place. Now, with that in mind, I am part of the non-zero grading pilot program, which it's something the district has been implementing to see how we can take away the effect of zeros. So many of you might have noticed a zero can really hurt you for your grade. You could do all your work for a quarter, miss one assignment, and then that zero could really lower your grade. So we're kind of trying a system that reduces that. So assignments that are not turned in receive a 40%. So if you don't turn something in, you get a 40% on it, and it's listed as missing. You can still turn those in. You can still get full credit for those up until the end of that unit. If an assignment is turned in and earns a score of lower than 50%, so you did the assignment, but you did horribly on it, the score will be up to a 50%. You can still go back, redo it, and get the full credit if you'd like, but you cannot get lower than a 50% if you've done the assignment. Late assignments, I'll need to fix that. Late assignments do not incur a penalty or reduced score. So if you're late, I'm not going to take points off of being late, but it's your best interest to turn things in because the tests that we're going to take on the application assignments are based on the daily work. If you're not doing the daily work, it's going to be really hard for you to follow along with the tests and do well on them. Now, in regards to assessments, you can retake those for increased credit. So you take a test, you didn't study for it, and you take it. We'll set up a time to frame, retake the test. We will work together to form a plan. Maybe I might have you go through a review, study as guide assignment, just to review a little bit before you take the test. It makes no sense to take the test, fail it, and then take it right again the next second. because what have you learned or what have you reviewed in that time? So I'm expecting that you're going to go ahead, take some time, go back over the study guide, go back over your notes, and then take the test. Now, with that, if you score lower, you always get the higher of the two grades. So even if you went back, took the test, and you scored lower than you did the first time, you still get the higher. It is not unlimited. I don't want people taking the same test 8 to 9 times. If you prepare, if you follow along, if you do the Kahoots, you do the study guides, you will be fine on the assessments. Even if you don't test well, we will set it up so you can make sure it works. Finally, our typical daily routine. Now, normally what you'll do is you'll go into Google Classroom. When you go to Google Classroom, I don't have one open, but actually I do. So when you go to Google Classroom, you'll see this link here. I'm not going to click on it. That's the Google Meet for this class. So that's what we'll meet every day. So you'll go in here, you'll click that link. I am very hopeful that I can change how those look. Be present on time. Make sure you're in the right class, right time. Make sure you're on time. Don't show up with 10 minutes left, 5 minutes left. We are going to be taking attendance. How that's going to look is not exactly sure yet, but I will be taking attendance at some point to make sure that you've logged in. So be present on time. Make sure your video is enabled. If your Wi-Fi cuts out and you have to kick back on, that's fine. I'll be able to track that to see that you always logged in for most of the time. If you have a question, please use the raise hand icon. Don't just yell stuff out. I would expect that your microphone is muted unless I've called on you or asked you to speak, or we're sharing something. If we're doing an activity where we're sharing, then we would take turns. It's your turn to speak. But if you've ever been on a meeting where everyone's mic is on, it's very confusing, and I'd like to avoid that. The comment section of Google Meet is for school business only. If you have questions about me, or not me, but about the assignment, about what we're doing, please use the comment and chat section. It is not a, hey, what's up? What's going on? Comment back and forth for you and your classmates while I'm presenting information. And I can monitor it, so I will be able to know, and your names are on it. So again, let's just try and refrain from using that from as a kind of a chat room. It's more for comments or questions about the instruction of the day. Please don't use your cell phone or watch TV during class sessions. I'm only asking for about 15-20 minutes of your time to direct focus. After that, if you work better with a TV on, turn it on. I don't care. But while I'm giving instruction, while we're working as a class, I would expect that your phone is not in your hand and your TV is not on and you're not paying attention to that. I understand that home instruction and remote learning can be very confusing at times. I ask you just to make your best efforts. If you do are uncomfortable and you need to move around, I'm almost comfortable all the time. But if you grab your Chromebook and you're walking around, it can be somewhat distracting. So let's try to avoid that. And then at the last part of the class, you'll be set for an assignment. I'll probably model it for you. I'll show you how it's done. And then you'll be given the rest of the time to work on it. We'll still be on Google Meet so we can answer questions. There'll be breakout sessions that are available as well. Online classes should be done before you come in the next day. I grade stuff throughout the day, but I don't want to have it where it's after the due date and then you're just trying to fill it in. That's not really a great way to learn. Now, if you are absent, Google Classroom is going to have all our materials. I'm going to video and screencast all the at least a class session a day. A lot of the stuff is going to be on recordings anyway. So you can always review the stuff that we've gone over. If you don't understand what's going on, if you're not sure, please email me at srainey@d118.org if you have any other questions. Beyond that, I have nothing else, and I hope we have a great year. I'm looking forward to making this work. As always, go Mustangs.